There's a 60-mile stretch of State Highway 2026 in eastern Idaho that might be one of the most desolate sections of highway in the state. Between Arco and Blackfoot, there isn't much on the horizon taller than a fence post, which I guess is typical southern Idaho high desert landscape. I mean, there is an aptly named Big Southern Butte out there, but other than that, nothing. Except there is one thing, and that one thing is celebrating a big day today. You see the sign for it about 20 minutes south of Arco. The EBR-I Atomic Museum to commemorate the world's first nuclear reactor to produce clean energy. And on December 20th, 1951, it created enough atomic energy to power 4 light bulbs. Here's Joe Paris.
Out in the East Idaho desert sits a powerful link to the past. Inside this old-time building sits the experimental breeder reactor 1. Fancy name, but why does this building in this desert even matter? Liza Rayleigh, a tour ambassador with the Idaho National Lab, explains today's actually the perfect day to ask that question.
It's the anniversary of the first time atomic energy was able to be used to create electricity here at EBR-I, Experimental Breeder Reactor 1.
That's right, maybe Idaho's biggest claim to science fame. This day in 1951 marked a first ever, anywhere on Earth. EBR-I successfully used nuclear fuel to create electricity, lighting 4 light bulbs. The first time a usable amount of electricity had been generated using nuclear technology.
It's pretty remarkable considering that the pioneers, and I don't use that term loosely, they really were nuclear pioneers. They decided to come here in 1949, and a short 2 years later, here they had not only made a new kind of nuclear fuel by breeding plutonium, but they also had created electricity from atomic energy. December 20th, 1951 at 1:23 p.m.
You better believe it. They have the electrifying anniversary down to the dot. Our interview with Liza earlier was actually right in the countdown window.
Trust me, I have a timer set on my watch right now. I'm just waiting for the countdown to begin.
The simple fact of creating electricity this way is incredible, but the historical backdrop and advances in science are pretty incredible if you look back.
It's the first time that it ever happened, not just in the state of Idaho, not just in the United States, in the entire world. It's the first time that it ever happened. And when you really look at the timeline, the first man-made nuclear reaction happened December 2nd, 1942. So in 1949, 7 years later, they decided to come to East Idaho, put this facility out here in the middle of the desert. And then by 1951, December 20th, 1951, they had lit 4 iconic light bulbs.
How did those nuclear pioneers get to this powerful project? Well, the museum setup at the site includes this, an authentic notebook from scientist Walter Zinn. He chronicled the work put into EBR-I.
Pioneers were here and they said, let's see what we can do. These were people that at the end of World War II, they knew what they could do by splitting the atom, and they said, what can we create by splitting the atom? And the best place for them to come and do those experiments was here in a place that I love. So I'm just very proud that it's here. I'm very excited to show it off to people.
The INL didn't stop at the innovation of power in the 1950s. As a matter of fact, that work continues as we speak.
Gosh, it's exciting what we did in the past here at Idaho National Lab, but what we have coming in the future, it's going to blow people's minds. It's really an exciting time to be at the lab.
So if you want to go see it yourself, you have to be a little bit patient here. EBR-I is open 7 days a week between Memorial Day and Labor Day, 9 to 5. And Brian, there was actually a special tour group that went down today just for the anniversary.
Got to do it on the anniversary,
especially,
right?
Yeah. And, I heard they were having some inclement weather down there today as well. So that's why Liza, we had a phone interview with her today. But there were a lot of excitement down there. It's pretty neat.
And the snowstorms that blow through eastern Idaho, that's kind of a reason why they don't open much after Labor Day, except on this anniversary day.
Yeah, and you've also been up to Arco, and you've seen the first town powered by electricity.
Yeah, I mean, Arco is Arco, but like I said, I've driven that stretch of Highway 2026 between Arco and Blackfoot, and it is just completely nothing out there. And so you can figure out why they kind of picked that spot and go, well, there's really not much damage we could do out here, maybe?
That's true.
I don't know.
Because, worst case scenario back in the 1950s is everything, blew up. Not a lot out in the middle of the desert. Now, it'd be a little different today. Of course, as science, goes on, we know a lot more about nuclear fallout, stuff like that. Not a concern in that area, of course, but yeah, the EBR-I, very cool.
You drive through there, though, there are signs that say no stopping along the highway at this point.
Yes, they are very careful out there. So if you are going to go take a trip out there, stay on course because they will notice if you were in the wrong area.
Exactly. All right, thank you very much, Joe.